Hi everyone, I'm back, and this is the last kind of longish video I'd like you guys to watch before class next weekend. And I would like to talk about color temperature, and specifically how it relates to mixing color. Now I know it's kind of an abstract concept, and I'll be the first to admit that it took me a little while to get a really good grasp of it, but I'm telling you, once I did, I found it very helpful. First, in helping me communicate with other artists and teachers about color, and secondly, in helping myself and I, figure out how to mix a particular color. Here I have taken a color wheel and I've drawn a diagram around it to help explain warm and cool colors. The first thing you might notice is that the color wheel is basically divided in half, with cool colors being on one side and warm colors being on the other. The cool colors, you can think about maybe ocean water, cold, deep lakes, ice, and those kinds of things to remind yourself that these colors are cool. On the hot side or the warm side, you can think about fire, about the sun and candles and the warmth that those colors generate in your mind. Now within both of those sides, I've determined a color that I think is the coolest on one side and the hottest on the other. So for me, the coolest color on the cool side of the color wheel is blue. Now the hottest color on the warm side of the color wheel is orange. Okay, here's where it gets tricky, so hang in there. The warmth and coolness of colors is relative. Yeah, I'm sorry to say that. It's not black and white. It depends on which color you're referring it to. So even though yellow is on the warm side of the color wheel, it is actually cooler than orange. And the same goes for red. It's also on the warm side of the color wheel, but it is also considered a cooler color than orange. To go further with that, red-violet, another color on the warm side, is considered cooler than red because it is closer to the cool side of the color wheel. Just as yellow is closer to the cool side of the color wheel than orange, it is considered a cooler color than orange. But it is considered warmer than any color on the cool side of the color wheel. See, I told you about that relative thing. I know it gets a little confusing. So on the flip side, we've got the cool colors. And here we go again. The blue being our coolest color. Any color that moves towards the warm side of the wheel is going to be considered, you got it, warmer than blue. So green is actually considered to be a warmer color than blue is, even though overall it's considered a cool color. But green is also considered cooler than anything on the warm side of the color wheel. It's cooler than yellow, it's cooler than orange, it's cooler than violet red or even red violet. Have I thoroughly confused you yet? Hopefully not. Okay, let's practice this a little bit. So if we have these two colors here, which color do you think is cooler and which color is warmer? What do you think? Okay, which color is coolest? So you chose this color. You are absolutely right. And why is that? Well, let's see. Okay, if I put them down on the color wheel, this color is a blue-green. This color is a green-yellow. This color is closer to blue than the green-yellow is. So what that means is that this color is cooler than the green-yellow. You can also say that the green-yellow is warmer than the blue-green because it is closer to the warm side of the color wheel. Okay, let's try this again. So we take these two colors. Which color is warmer? This color or this one? Oh, you're right. It's this color. And why is that? Well, if we place them on the color wheel, this flower is kind of a red orange, and the spool of thread is a violet red. The red orange is very close to orange, much closer than the violet red. So it is considered a warmer color than the violet red is. The violet red is closer to the cool side of the wheel. So it is considered a cooler color than the orange red. What do you think? Is it starting to make a little sense? I hope so. Okay, let's put this into practice. I've got these two colors. Which one's cooler and which one's warmer? Ah, you got it. This color is warmer than this one, which in theory means if I mix this green and I want to mix this one next, I would just need to add a warmer color to it, like yellow. So let's see what happens. I already have this green mixed right here, and if I put this next to it, when I look at it, this green is cooler to me than this green is, which means I need to add a cooler color to this mix to get this green, which would be blue, as blue is a cool color. So this color, although not exact, is closer to this color than that one is. We can add just a little bit of yellow back into it. Let's see. And then a little bit of green. It's kind of a seesaw kind of thing here. Oh, now we've gone too cool. I've added too much blue. So I'll add a little bit more of the green, earlier green back in. I think with the pigments that I have, this is about the closest I'm going to get to this color. It's still a little warmer than this green. So now we can try and add a little white, because white not only lightens things, but believe it or not, cools them down. So we'll see what happens if we add some white. It also dulls your colors. So you want to be careful when you're using white. It can very easily make them look chalky. Not too bad. But I think with these pigments, that's as close as we're going to get. So now I have this color. And I know that it's warmer than this color. So that means I'm going to need to add a warm color to it. And we know yellow is a warm color. It's on the warm side of the color wheel. So let's grab some yellow. And I'm going to put it off to the side a bit. And then we're going to start adding the green. And then this color is pretty rich. It's kind of a, so to me, it is warmer than this color still. So I'm going to use a little bit of white, a little bit of blue. Let's see how this goes. Woo! Wow. Way too much blue. These things happen. So let's go back to get some more yellow. Yeah, maybe a little bit of white. Okay, ooh. Oh, I thought I saw it for just a moment there. And try a little more white again, and maybe. So sometimes to compensate for the fact that white has a tendency to cool colors down when you add it, you can add a little bit of yellow to warm it back up. How are we doing? We're getting closer. You can see the difference of the two colors. We're still a little dark. So going for some more white. A little thread out of the way. And then my color's going to wander off, or my spool come back. I'm going to push it even further. Okay, we're going to add a lot of white to it. Let's see where we get here. Okay, now see, to me, this is becoming a little too cool. It's getting very subtle though. So we're going to add a little bit of yellow to warm it back up. And we're kind of close. I think once again, we're as close as these pigments, these particular pigments, are going to get us to this color. It's not too shabby there. There we go. Okay, we're back to try it again with two slightly different colors. These are closer in value, so I think you can see the difference between their temperature a little bit better. So we have a warm green and kind of a very cool green. Put those there. Another thing is I sort of cheated, I will admit, and I grabbed a new color. This is Viridian, and it's considered a cool green. And I think it's going to help us match, particularly this color, a lot quicker. We shall see. So, get a little bit of that, and we're going to add our white to it. Let's see where we're headed. Far too pale. Add some more. Oh. Oh, look at that. Oh my. Maybe I just nailed that right. That was like too easy. So let's see. I think I can darken it a little bit better and we'll have that spot on. What do we got here? Yeah, maybe a tad bit darker. And now let's check it out. Look at that. Wow. Okay. Sometimes grabbing a different pigment, if it's really important to you to match a color, can be helpful. Okay, so there is our cool kind of green, almost blue. Now we've got this color. So how are we going to make this color with this pile? This is a warmer color than this one. So that means we are going to jump into a little yellow. It'll be interesting to see if we can get this color. Oh, we're so close. A little white. Looks like it could be a little bit warmer. Oh, maybe we overshot it there. Now, one thing I'm noticing, and I haven't talked about, this video isn't so much about saturation of color, but I'm noticing that this color is a little duller than what I've mixed. So, of course, one way you can dull a color is to add white, but sometimes that will lighten your color more than you want it to. So another way to dull a color is to add the complement of its color. And the complement of green is red. So I'm going to add just a tiny bit of red and just see where that takes me. And I may not like where that takes me, but you know, it doesn't hurt to try. I'm kind of liking maybe just a tiny bit more. Okay, now to me it's looking a little cool again, maybe because we added that white. Whoa, and maybe that's a little too much yellow. Okay, and then maybe a little bit more red. It's all a big experiment. And the thing is the more you mix, the more you'll get ideas on how to create your colors. You start at first and you're like, I have no idea. But believe me, the more you mix, the more you'll think, oh, I'm pretty sure if I add this, I'll get something along the lines of this. So I'm thinking that's pretty darn close. Hopefully you think so too. I did want to mention one thing you might be thinking is, for Pete's sake, Susan, if a color needs yellow, why just not tell me add yellow instead of, oh, that needs a warmer color? Well, this is a good stage. This is like one of your first stages of trying to figure out a color. So you may not know what color you need to add to it, but you can tell there's a difference here and that this color seems warmer than this one. And then that is your first clue that you're going to want to add one of these colors on the warm side of the color wheel. And I may have gotten this color a lot quicker if I had added orange, because that's basically when I added a little bit of red and a little bit of yellow, that's basically what I'm adding is orange. So, so looking at the temperature of your colors, comparing two colors, deciding which one's cooler, which one's warmer is your first clue on what color you might want to add to your mix to get you where you want to go. Another thing, and this is for another video entirely, but once you get used to the idea of colors being warm and cool, we can start discussing how light, the color of your light, affects the colors of everything. Warm lights and cool lights will affect your colors differently. But that's the subject for a whole nother workshop. I hope you found this helpful. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you soon.